What's up, guys? It's KB. Make sure you subscribe to the Underground Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Click the bell icon down below so you don't miss a single video from us. And thanks for tuning in to another video from Underground Sports Philadelphia. Now let's get into it.
Philadelphia, baby, you're going to love it. Best sports fans in the world. Actually, the worst, but that's what makes them the best.
Yo, what's poppin'? All my peeps. It is I, your captain of all things nonsensical, Renaissance man who always thinks he can, and champion of the peeps, Patty Pitts, welcoming you to my house for the first edition of the house show presented to you by Underground Sports. It is just me, Patty P, here in the house today. On screen, we got founder, CEO, give him any title, he'll knock it out of the park. KB helping me out with the first episode with the voicemails and stuff. Not on camera, but he's got a mic to communicate.
Let's go.
Let's go, dude. How we doing? Dude, I'm excited for this.
I'm pumped. This has been months in the making. I'm stoked.
Dude, months in the making. You know, I have No Nights Off over on Tuesdays and Thursdays on the No Nights Off YouTube channel. Go check that out as well. But Underground was the first home, obviously. It was the first home where I started to do this shit. And we were trying to see how I fit back after fantasy football was a complete flop. And I mean, all roads lead to pro wrestling, in my opinion. You know, every wrestling fan goes through their periods, hiatuses, we'll say, of not watching the product at all. You know, they take their break and they get into something else, but then they always come back. And, you know, like Underground, you know, came back to the Underground. I came back to wrestling, and it just seems fitting that this is the opportunity for me to shine here. And the only way possible is for me to just spew my thoughts about the product. You want to hear my in-depth analysis and that type of wrestling brain, you go check out No Nights Off. But if you want completely unfiltered, completely biased to a point, you know, me actually showing off my favoritism and not just what I think of the product as a whole, and just anything nonsense. Because as I said, I am the captain of all things nonsensical. And wrestling's pretty nonsensical, if you ask me. So I have a lot of thoughts on all that nonsense. And the premise of the show being not just me talking about what I think, but the questions from callers. And we have a lot of callers today, at least a good amount to start with the first episode. Going to be asking me, you know, my thoughts, I hope, about the product, and a lot of other things as well. Well, we'll see some favorite questions. Hopefully, I can't wait to see it. And if you want to leave yourself a voicemail, all right, leave a voicemail for me. That link is it right there. All right, copy it over on your search bar. You can go even easier. You can go to our social media page, official house show on Instagram, and my Twitter and Instagram as well, at Patty Pitts, to click the link and leave me a voicemail. Literally, it can be a question about what I think about Cody Rhodes and John Cena at SummerSlam, or it can be, hey Pitts, what did you think of Shark Boy back in TNA? And I'll answer them both, because that's what we do here in the Underground and in the house. We say what we're feeling, and we talk about God's greatest gift to earth, and that is professional wrestling. KB, you're not much of a wrestling guy. Weren't really much of a wrestling guy before I entered your world, but now that I have introduced you to it, you're becoming slightly a fan.
Yeah, I think I got into it primarily like through you, and then during like Pandy Wandy, post Pandy Wandy, when McAfee was wrestling, because I'm a huge Pat McAfee fan.
Yeah.
And I think my first true introduction was like his feud with Adam Cole. And like that was the first time I sat down and watched
Mhm.
anything wrestling in my life because I was all in on McAfee doing the job. And then, you know, obviously like as a movie fan too, like I love Dave Bautista. I love John Cena. I love things that The Rock does in movies. Like genuine, like
Things that
those
Rock
three.
does. You didn't say the right.
Well, there's some things I don't
You
like
know,
that The Rock does.
dude, a lot of people, a lot of wrestling fans right now do not like The Rock. I am not one of those people because he is probably the main reason that I'm sitting in front of you right now talking about wrestling. So I will never say a bad thing about the man personally. But yeah, he's kind of doing a bad number on wrestling right now, leaving a sour taste in fans' mouths. So I'm happy he hasn't steered you away completely.
Yeah, and I mean like enjoying those guys and then seeing them back in wrestling is crazy. And I think like growing up too, like I wasn't into wrestling, but I knew who Stone Cold was. I knew who the Undertaker was. I knew who Randy Orton was because if you were on the internet from anywhere from like the mid 2000s to now, like the Randy Orton slithering down the aisle compilation videos on early YouTube were like the funniest videos of all time. So like I was in the know with like certain parts of it, and like Triple H, Goldberg. I'll let you say the first part, Pitts. What do we say about the Hulk Hogan?
Dude, fuck the Hulk Hogan. You kidding me? I just watched his ass get beat by Spider-Man in the Nonsense Wrestling Federation. All right. We do not like Hogan.
Yeah, we
Hulk
do not.
Hogan here in the house at
But like
all.
those people that, and like I think
Exactly.
if you're a Twitter user, like the Iron Sheik got put onto your timeline more often than not every single morning. That was like your wake up call, was seeing what the Iron Sheik tweeted for you to wake up to.
So good.
So yeah, I mean, like I loosely like knew about wrestling, but then ever since you've like been back on this wrestling like high that you've been on, that I don't see you coming down from ever again.
No,
And then
it's
obviously
done.
you come here for WrestleMania, and I was just sunk into a pool of wrestling fans and
Mhm.
culture and everything. I keep my eyes on it, and since we've been working on this show, it feels like something I need to pay attention to just be in the know and build this thing up to be an absolute mega hit.
That's what we're gonna do. That's what the champ does. He builds things up, and that's I can't stress enough how pivotal WrestleMania 40 was for me. Not only the show itself, yeah, you can just take it at face value. The show itself was the greatest WrestleMania of all time, but the fact that I was there with my co-host over on No Nights Off, Sarah, and we experienced that together. Uh, and experiencing highs of highs, but for different reasons. Her seeing her favorite ever, Cody Rhodes, winning at WrestleMania, that was her high. But really for me, the high was experiencing the main event itself and seeing The Undertaker, the gong, experiencing that. I tell people all the time that I legitimately felt an outer body experience moment when you heard that gong hit for The Undertaker come out. And WWE World, like all that stuff was really awesome and just made me want to not take another hiatus from the industry and realizing that, yeah, maybe if WWE sucks, well, there's a program, Kyle, over on TBS and TNT that does a little bit of the same thing, a little bit of familiar faces, but with different names. AEW, Tony Khan's company. And if you're not even a fan of that, well, TNA is honestly my favorite going on right now, and one of the more underrated promotions in the industry because of what they're doing and how long they've been doing it. I mean, yeah, everyone, AEW is breaking records for the highest grossing event, or it was highest gross what's it called, like gate, the highest set. It was the second highest gate in all of wrestling history. The only thing that was higher was WWE, so the highest non-WWE company, and that's great. But at the end of the day, I mean, the Khans have I call Tony Khan basically just the bank of Khan. That's what the thing he's best used for in AEW right now is to be the bank of Khan, because they have so much talent. Problem is that TNA doesn't have a big that to get TV deals and whatnot. They've had a lot of ups and downs where AEW is still on the rise. But yeah, it's just awesome to get back into it, and just that was such a pivotal time in my life was WrestleMania 40. Then even this year at WrestleMania 41, not as amazing, but it was still great for what it was. Seeing Pat McAfee at WWE World, and not just Matt McAfee, but the show itself after WrestleMania, to be there when Paul Heyman takes the stage for the first time after turning on two of his most beloved friends in the industry at the moment, having to be there for John Cena's first interview after winning the championship, just stuff like that. The chase is real, and I want to keep chasing that dream, and that's what we're going to do here in the house. All right. And Kyle, we're going to start off with some voicemails. All right. That's what the bread and butter is of the show, baby. Voicemails from the peeps. All right. And we got a lot of them. I'm seeing a familiar name here. And listen, man, if you want me to go 1-on-1 with the felt one, I can't. I'm ready to do it here in the Yard of Streams. All right. We'll step outside the house and go into the Yard of Streams, and I'll go mano-a-mano that dude. So I can't wait to hear what he and a lot of other people have said. And as I mentioned before at the top of the show, please leave a voicemail yourself. I want to hear from the peeps. All right. I want to hear from you guys. I don't get to talk about wrestling all that much in my life. That's why we do this type of shit. Because if I'm going to talk to anybody about it or talk to myself down here, might as well put a goddamn camera in front of me and a microphone to do so. So leave a voicemail right there, speakpipe.com/official house show. Kyle, let's kick off first. Oh, go for it.
I was going to say, and the nice part, that voicemail line is open 24/7, 365. So you can leave a voicemail like during a wrestling event, after, before, during the week. It doesn't matter. It's open all the time. The only stipulation has to be 90 seconds or less. Short, sweet, to the point, and then Pitsy, you hit the gas pedal with it. So it's we like to say this show is caller driven, Pitsy led.
I lead. That's what I do. I lead my peeps as the captain here. So Kyle, I'm gonna let you choose here because you're helping me today. So who is catching your eye first?
Well, I know you brought up the felt one, which is a hysterical nickname for our good pal Delco Danny. He left you 2 voicemails this week, but I think we kick it off with the initial voicemail from Delco Danny, and then we'll go and we'll just run the gauntlet. We'll run the ball and see what you have to say about each voicemail. Shout out to everybody that did leave voicemails here. You're part of history on episode 1 of the house show with Pat Pitts.
Thank you.
All right, Pitsy, here is voicemail number 1 from your best friend, Delco Danny. Yo, dickhead, it's Patty Pitts. He's got his own show here at Underground Sports Philadelphia. Look at that fancy stuff. I think you know who's calling in right now. It's your best pal, Delco Danny, bro. Philadelphia's own. Can't believe you made it to the big time, bro. It's about fucking time. You got a show talking about that wrestling, sports entertainment stuff you always be spewing on the social medias. I pay attention to you. I got eyes on you. But yeah, I just want to call in, congratulate you, and just wonder when I'm going to get on the fucking show, be on the program, talk about how John Cena's a fucking dickhead being a little heel boy, and how Peacemaker should kick his ass. We got to go to Angelo's or something, bro. You got to keep it, keep it 100. Go Birds. I'll see you at the house sometime, Patty Pitts. Congrats on the show, dickhead.
Hey, go Birds, Danny. Go Birds.
What a call to start this show.
I love how the first call is immediately asking to join me here in the house. So love that, Danny. We will definitely, we got to have you in. All right. You're definitely a peep. Whenever you want Danny to come on, and I'll start the wrestling talk with what you said about John Cena's heel boy run. John Cena's heel run, a lot of people have not been satisfied with it and are vocalizing their thoughts on it more right now because it's almost over at essentially the halfway point of his retirement tour. I want to ask one question to those people who have not been liking it so far. And the question being, would you rather him go this entire year with the happy-go-lucky, power positivity, hustle, loyalty, respect gimmick against every opponent that he has? Wouldn't that get boring after the third month? And we're seeing a different side of Cena right now. If there's a time to do it, it's on his final run. And everything that he has said to the fans, it makes sense from a story perspective. He's pissed off at the fans for using him like a puppet for all these years and, you can't see me jokes and whatnot. It's great. I think that's what the basis of it should be. The problem that people have, and I will agree with them here, is that it was kickstarted by The Rock slitting his throat at Elimination Chamber to essentially signal the Winter Soldier out of John Cena. And that's what people are hung up on, is that The Rock's involvement in this entire heel run has been so mysterious to the point where we don't think we're ever going to get an answer from it. I'm all right with it. I've came to peace with potentially never getting an answer for all that nonsense that happened, and even the bullshit of Travis Scott ruining the WrestleMania 41 main event. I've came to peace with it. I've seen a lot worse in wrestling. I'm pretty sure I will see worse before I die. John Cena's heel run's been great because we've got rivalry, the reigniting of rivalries, his old flames with Randy Orton, CM Punk. We would not have got Punkonomics without this heel turn. And I think it's been great. The question is now we're at the halfway point. SummerSlam is in 2 weeks. We're going to have hopefully some calls and next week about SummerSlam. I'm going to give my thoughts on SummerSlam. This should be the time we see, a change. Maybe this is where Cena realizes that, maybe being a bad guy isn't for me. I think that's the case. The problem is that you have Seth Rollins' injury right now. And Seth Rollins' injury definitely throws a wrench into a lot of SummerSlam plans. I don't want to go totally into predicting if Seth Rollins' injury is a work or legit. I talked about it kind of yesterday, alluded to it yesterday on the Raw Rewind over on No Nights Off, that I expect anything and am prepared for anything in wrestling now. It's such a different landscape. It's such a different world than when we watched as kids. The dirt sheets was just something that you read on online chat boards. There was no social media. There was no Fightful Select reports, which, by the way, I got to re-up that. Thank you for reminding me, Pitts. It was none of that. So now, how do you level up? How do you continue to get better? It's by testing the limits, testing the waters. As TNA says, cross the line. Well, let's approach that line. See how far we can come. I expect anything with wrestling now. All right. And I think with this John Cena heel turn, SummerSlam in general, all right, just be prepared for anything. That's all I got. Who we got next, Kyle? Who's our next voicemail?
Here is our next voicemail, Patty Pitts. It's a bit of a blast from the past.
All right.
Patty Pitts, this is former Underground Sports Philadelphia streamer Steve Schneider with a big-time question now that NXT currently holds both of the TNA Men's and Knockouts Championship. Who do you think from either roster will win the belt next, and when do you think they will win it? Because if you're asking me, I think it's Mike Santana at Bound for Glory for the men's, and the Knockouts, I think Masha Slamovich wins it at Heatwave in Massachusetts. But what say you, my good sir?
Dude, Steve, great to hear from you, pal. Great to hear from you. Hope he's still streaming. Hope he's still crushing. Do you know if he's still streaming, Kyle? On his
I
own page?
believe he is.
Yeah, he still streams. He's crushing it in PGA. That's a hell of a game. But yeah, thanks, Steve, for the question. And I'm so happy that you brought up TNA as I watch NXT right now, catching up on it from last night. I'm going to go back a little bit before I answer this. I thoroughly enjoyed Slammiversary. I thought the show was phenomenal, pun intended, top to bottom. You know, when it comes to the world championship situation, yeah, both world championships are held by WWE contracted superstars. Right? No one on the TNA roster holds the company's most prestigious title. Complete nonsense. I love it. I like it for the partnership, and it's a good thing. And I'll continue to have that mindset that it's a good thing if Mike Santana does win it at Bound for Glory. All right. And that's, I do agree with Steve that Mike Santana will end up winning at Bound for Glory. Everyone wanted him to win at Slammiversary because it was their biggest show of the year. It was in New York, his backyard. It all made sense. However, sometimes what makes sense to the fans isn't what makes sense to the show. And when you think about the match, it was a triple threat. It was Trick taking on Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. The match was good. It was a standard triple threat, exciting. You know, I'm not going into the X's and O's. What I will go into is the fact that they had Frankie Kazarian on color commentary or guest commentary. Frankie Kazarian pulls the referee out of the ring while Joe Hendry is trying to get the pinfall, pinning Trick Williams to win the TNA title back. That's the story there. All right. That's a story now between Frankie and Joe that will probably end up being a feud match at Bound for Glory. It gets Joe out of the title picture. All right. That's what that was for. It gets him out of the title picture, and now he focuses his attention on Frankie Kazarian. Well, that leaves Mike Santana. Okay. That leaves Mike Santana, who didn't get pinned because Joe Hendry did get pinned. And he's the one who essentially finished the match. All right. He had his signature move on Joe Hendry. Trick Williams comes in from faking the injury, pins Joe Hendry to win. And Bound for Glory is technically TNA's biggest show of the year. Slammiversary is simply the yearly anniversary of TNA's first ever pay-per-view. That's what it is. With Bound for Glory, that's their WrestleMania. That's their all-in. All right. So wouldn't you want to crown your new face of the company at your show's biggest event of the year? The guy that everybody is behind, Mike Santana. The vignettes have been so compelling. Him talking about how he's not doing this for him. He's doing this for his family, his daughter, how he wants to come home as a champion. That's what makes you feel. That's why we love wrestling, because you hear a story like that, and you might not even know who he was before then, but God damn it, you want him to win now. And that makes sense for him to win at Bound for Glory. And especially with this kind of dictatorship, it feels like. This higher power of NXT looming over TNA. It's insane how I didn't think that JC Jane was going to win and become double champion, but she did. You know, I don't think Masha Slamovich is it. I think there's definitely going to be someone else. And JC Jane kind of needs it right now. I hate to be that guy, but I play both sides of the coin. All right. I talked a lot about how TNA needs this, that, and the other for Mike Santana. Well, NXT kind of needs this, that, and the other for JC Jane. JC Jane has been through the ringer in NXT. She was the last, or she was she was in Toxic Attraction until they booted Mandy Rose for having an OnlyFans. Then she gets left to the wayside. She joins up with Chase U. Great addition to Chase U, and gave them airtime and crushed it in that role as the savior, but then kind of the evil, doing the backdoor sneaky shit. She goes there, done singles route, but then she gets paired up now with Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, my new girl, my new favorite, and Jasmine Nix. She deserves this spotlight. It doesn't need to be for a year. Okay, I'm just going to throw that out there. It does not need to be for a year, but she deserves this time. And he leaves a little too quick for me for this. I want to see someone, not specifically her, but someone like this, like Isaiah Brookside, take it off her. You know, just like an ultimate baby face that, you know, every TNA fan wants to root for. I want to see someone like that take it off her. Masha has grown out of needing the title, excuse me, to be legit. I'm going to stamp on that Mike Santana is your next TNA World Champion at Bound for Glory. Kyle, do you know where Bound for Glory is?
Is this the one that's in Philly?
No, not that one. It's in Lowell, Massachusetts. God's country, baby. God's country. I signed up for the pre-sale gate or something, you know, to get allowed in to buy tickets early. Because God damn it, if my first TNA show in Massachusetts is going to be a Bound for Glory and the potential main event is Mike Santana winning the world championship away from a WWE superstar, dude, come on, book it. I need to be there for when it happens. So, yeah, good question, Steve. Well, love to hear from you more. All right, who we got next?
Next up, we have Derek.
Derek.
Here's Derek's voicemail for you, Pitsy.
Hey, Pat, this is Derek. Do you think it's crazy that Punk hasn't won the title yet? That guy needs the strap ASAP. All right, I'll hang up.
Thanks, Derek. Thanks, Derek, for the question.
I need Derek to call more.
Dude, Derek's awesome. I don't think Punk needs the strap at all. Derek, I love the call, but I disagree with you. Punk does not need the strap at the moment. He needs to be in matches for the strap against guys like Gunther. Gunther needs to be legitimized more as this monster, this behemoth in the ring. You know, they call him the ring general for a reason. I mean, Kyle, dude, if you should see this man chop another person. I
saw
fear
him go toe to toe with McAfee.
Well, you did watch that match. Okay, good. Yeah, no. Pat McAfee got the ever-living shit chopped out of him, and it was majestic. It was art. That's what Gunther does in the ring. And CM Punk needs to be in matches against guys like that who are the next generation, you know, and the next faces of the company, whether they're good or bad guys. Or gals, obviously. Punk needs to be in captivating, you know, just intense grudge feuds at this stage of his career. I want to see this storyline play out with Seth Rollins for like a year or so, or 2 years, where, you know, they may stray away from each other for a few weeks or a month or so and then reconvene because they're the top stars, right? That's why the people are buying the tickets week in and week out. They're not buying the ticket to see American Made and Julius Creed and Brutus. No, they want to see CM Punk and Seth Rollins. So that's the way to do it. I just want to keep seeing CM Punk on my TV screen every week. All right. I fucking love CM Punk. Fucking love CM Punk. Can't
He's
really
probably
say that over on No Nights Off.
He's probably my favorite.
CM Punk.
Yeah, not only for the fact that like he's just a good dude, he's also the only wrestler that's ever interacted with our company.
No shit. Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. He has.
Fun story to tell on this one. CM Punk, only wrestler that acknowledged Underground Sports Philadelphia in the early days. This was like early Underground. This
Is
is
this like Facebook Live when you were going
Facebook Live, like we weren't even a year in. This was like 5-7 months in. It was when Gritty got announced by the Flyers.
Yeah, because he's a massive Blackhawks fan.
Massive Blackhawks fan, and Gritty became the most followed mascot on social media and surpassed Bailey, which is the LA Kings mascot, the Lion.
Mm-hmm.
And someone tagged CM Punk in it at the time, and he quote tweeted it, and it went mega viral. And it was literally just a GIF. It was just a picture or a GIF of Gritty saying that he was the most followed mascot in the NHL.
That's awesome, dude. Gotta love Pepsi Phil. I love Pepsi Phil. Who we got next?
Next up, we've got Pablo.
Oh my God. Let's go.
Out of curiosity, I don't know if it's documented or if anyone actually knows how much Percocet Kurt Angle, aka Perk Angle, was using at the height of his degeneracy in the WWE. I'd just be curious to see how much he actually used, because the man is a monster.
Thank you, Pablo, for that. Unbelievable. Let the record show, though. I don't know if you knew this. We don't call him Perk Angle anymore. That like we don't like as a. I hate the IWC. I really do sometimes because they're so negative, and you can't agree with them on anything. No one agrees. But this is one thing that everyone agrees upon now, that no one calls him Perk Angle. He went on Chris Van Fleet, one of my favorite podcasters right now, went on that interview and he asked him about Perk Angle, obviously, because Perk Angle is one of the more iconic, we'll say figures of TNA. When, for anyone who's not in the know, Kurt Angle was on a lot of pain medications and whatnot throughout his career because the man was falling off he was falling off and his body was falling off. I mean, and he just took them to keep going, whatnot. Enough of my royal rambling. Fun fact, though, to answer your question, he was not on the meds specifically. Like, he wouldn't take them and then go out and perform in the ring. So he only took them to wake up and basically get through the day. And then he would go out and wrestle. But it was like, I heard, I think he said like he would take like 14 a day or something. Like, just insane shit, dude. Like, that's what I mean. Like, wrestlers go through so much and put their body through so much just to give us 20 minutes at max entertainment. It's the greatest form of entertainment. All right. And a guy like Kurt Angle, who put his body through, a sea of Percocet just to feel better and go out there for us and for the love of the game. I don't know, but yeah, great question, Pablo. Great, great investigative questions there. All right, who we got next?
Next up, Pitsy, I wanted to get in on the fun, so I sent you a voicemail.
Oh, thank you.
So it's going to be weird hearing my own voice talk for a little bit, but fun question for you.
All right, I'm in.
What's up, Patty Pitts? It's KB, your favorite, very casual wrestling fan. All thanks to you. Okay, but in reality, I love the MCU. I love my superheroes. I got you back into the Marvel Universe. I was wondering, who would be, number one, the Nick Fury to assemble this team that I'm about to ask you about? But who's your Nick Fury in the wrestling world? And then who is your original team of Avengers that you would comp to the world of wrestling. So take your wrestling characters, wrestlers, just people that have made whoever. Who would you cast to be the wrestling Avengers of the original group? Captain America, Iron Man, Hulk, Black Widow, Hawkeye, Thor, and then the Nick Fury, who's assembling them. I'll hang up and listen.
That's a really good question. I really love
Fun
that.
one.
It's a fun one because we say all the time, I mean, you and I say to each other all the time, wrestling and Marvel, DCU, whatever, tomato potato. Like, it's basically the same thing. There's so many similarities and, you know, comparable things with both that this is a fun question. I would go the Nick Fury. It's going to sound crazy, but Paul Heyman. It's not even crazy. Paul Heyman is probably the most brilliant mind in wrestling history. The thing is, I love Paul Heyman so much. Anytime he speaks, I listen, type of thing. And when I'm in the crowd, like a live crowd, and he is in the ring, there's nothing surrounding me. And just look at his history, what he did with ECW, his time in WCW, how he got into it. It's easily Paul Heyman, the wise man, as the Nick Fury. Now, when I mention my Avengers, Kyle, is this current or all time?
I left it open to interpretation, however you see fit. Obviously, it's the original cast of the Avengers from the MCU.
Yeah,
so like that kind of like comp to those characters, but however you see fit.
All right, I'll go with at least the pander answer first is Captain America with Cody Rhodes. For God's sake, like, come on. I mean, Homelander's a ripoff of Captain America with the boys. Cody Rhodes is a ripoff of Captain America with WWE. You know, when it comes to Thor, I mean, the Hulk, if I wanted to go now, wrestlers, and I'm going all companies, I'm going the Hulk as Moose, okay? Kyle, look up Moose when you get a chance. Former NFL player, played for the Patriots. Former TNA world champion. He just lost the X Division strap to Leon Slater at Slammiversary. The dude is a house. All right.
He is a house.
But he moves like a cat. All right. And that's my Hulk. If I need a big, strong guy like that, it's Hulk. I don't want like a Bronson Reed or even like a Big Show type answer for the Hulk, because like the Hulk is elusive.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we've seen him jump around. Like, motherfucker can move. Moose can move as well. So I'm gonna go Moose is my Hulk. Black Widow, because I don't want to do Iron Man and Thor just yet, because I want to get those like really good answers for it. But my Black Widow, I wanna go. Who's like sad, like Becky Lynch? You know, I'll just throw Becky Lynch in there as my Black Widow. It seems obvious, but she fits that mold for the Avengers perfectly. Iron
I'm
Man.
kind of surprised by that one.
Who do you think of?
I thought you were going to go Rhea.
No, because here's the thing with Rhea. It's more like with Becky as Black Widow. Black Widow is very like athletic. It can move and is not like a beast type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, she gets one-liners. That's the one thing about Natasha Romanoff, is that she hits these one-liners. So does Becky Lynch.
Look at you pulling government names for our Marvel characters.
Dude, I know ball. I'm telling you, I know ball. Because I'm trying to think of the Iron Man, like the $1 million look, like he's got everything, the high tech. Oh, it's tough. Fuck it, I'm going MJF. I'm going MJF as Iron Man.
Interesting.
Okay, and here's why. Tony Stark is arrogant, you know, very self-conceited. He's got a little bit of an ego to him, wouldn't you say? All right, if we're being unbiased here. MJF is that turned up to 11. And especially now with the Hurt business and being aligned with them, they wear suits all the time now. He already wore suits anyways. MJF is my Iron Man. Thing with Thor, all right.
I also
Thor,
didn't pin MJF as your Iron Man.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
I thought you were gonna go Seth.
No, see, I was thinking Seth. I'm like, no, it's a better answer. There's a better answer, and MJF like fits it to a T. Seth is like too good sometimes. Like he'd be too good of a guy. Like MJF is about MJF. Tony Stark loves Tony Stark. So, and then for my Thor, I'm gonna go with AEW again. Okay, and it's Will Ospreay for my Thor, because Thor, he just does good. Like all he wants to do is good for his family, loved ones, his people. And that's what Will Ospreay does with AEW. Like every time he goes out there, it's for the fans. It's for his family, AEW. He goes out there and puts it all in the ring. And he does moves that only a few people could do, similar to the Milorn. I did not say that right. I know I didn't. The Milorny.
Oh, you're talking about
Mjolnir.
like Mjolnir is the hammer.
Yeah,
but,
so that's like the few people can wield it.
Oh, okay.
Will Ospreay can, his aerial attacks and moves, like only few, no one else can do really but him, type of thing. So, who's Hawkeye? Fuck. You know what? I'm going to go Finn Balor's Hawkeye. All right. Because arrows, it's accuracy. Finn Balor is always accurate. I saw something today, Kyle, kind of segueing out of this and segueing into something new. Finn Balor is probably the most important wrestler historically at the moment. So he created the Bullet Club, which was Japan's biggest faction ever. Like revolutionized New Japan Pro Wrestling. He was the creator of that as Prince Devitt. And then the Bullet Club invited or inducted, allowed in the Young Bucks, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. Okay, so it's 3 people, but it's 4 people. Those guys became the Elite. All right, Cody Rhodes in the Bullet Club, then he goes the Elite. The Elite created All Elite Wrestling. And because of All Elite Wrestling's inception, that made WWE shake in their boots a little bit and start revving up the product. Without Finn Balor's existence in wrestling, not even WWE, not even in New Japan, just wrestling period, we would not be where we are today. And do you know who he trained?
Who's that?
The man, Becky Lynch.
See, now that's fitting for him to be Hawkeye, because remember, Hawkeye goes and becomes the Ronin and is running around like, I think, seems like Japan, or an MCU version of what Japan would be when Black Widow goes and finds him and he's like, don't give me hope. And then who's he training? Kate Bishop, next Hawkeye.
Yeah, we'll have Rue get in there. That's Becky Lynch's daughter. I wouldn't put it past Becky to have Finn train Rue a little bit. Also, fun fact for you too. Finn Balor and Becky Lynch, lovers. Former lovers.
There you go. That Black Widow. And
that's what I'm doing. I can connect. That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm saying. We got ourselves a little bit of an Avengers there. All right. I'd like to hear the peeps thoughts on that. I think it did a pretty fucking good job.
That's a fun one. Pitts, here is voicemail number 2 from the Felt Man, Delco Danny.
Felt one.
Yo, Patty Pitts, it's Delco Danny. Second time, long time. Yeah, I called you earlier in the week when I saw your shed got announced, but I got a fun question for you, bro. Since people like to say I'm a puppet or whatever, but, I think I'm pretty fucking real. You had to ask me, bro. Who would you want to see get turned into a puppet or a Muppet or anything and then get in the ring? What would a Muppets wrestling matchup look like to you, bro? The fuck is up? We need to get some more just stuffed animals, puppets, just wrestling, throwing each other around. I think it'd be fucking electric, bro. I'll hang up and listen. Delco Danny signing off, bro.
So my first reactions from hearing that is that we need to get Delco Danny in the ring with either Kermit the Frog or an entire Webkins ensemble. If he wants all stuffed animals to get in the ring. All right. I would. All right. So who do I want from pro wrestling to get morphed into a puppet so that they could fight Delco Danny? I would. You know what? It's the easy answer, but to continue, I really would love to see Gunther get puppetized and then chop the ever living shit out of Delco Danny, so Delco Danny could feel what it's like to step into the ring. You know what I mean? Like that would be insane. Or let's have Delco Danny get touched by Jiminy Cricket and turn into a real boy. I want to see that. Let's where's Jiminy Cricket at? That's what I want to know. Let's get Delco Danny in the ring.
That'd be hysterical.
Have
you ever seen the Imagine Dragons radioactive music video?
Oh, years ago, yeah.
It's literally like almost like cockfighting, but it's with stuffed animals.
I have not seen it in a while then. I think we saw 2 different videos.
It's so funny.
Okay.
It's like, why is this the music video for Radioactive? But it's incredible.
That dude, Imagine Dragons rule. They just do
They're the
shit
best.
like that.
What Muppet though would get in the ring?
I think Kermit would. No, fuck that. Miss Piggy. Just because like Delco Danny would say something so outrageous to Kermit, and Kermit would just be like, hey man, I'm just trying. I just want peace. Like, I just want peace, man. And then you have Miss Piggy throw like fucking earrings out, like, oh, you didn't just talk to my man like that. And then Delco Danny's getting a swift hoof, to the face. Like that's how I feel like that would go. And then you have the 2 people. Who are the 2?
Statler and Waldorf.
Yes, you have Statler and Waldorf commentating. Like that, dude, that's money. Right,
it's there. A pig in the ring. Ah!
Oh, he went for a pinfall. Called pigs in a blanket. Oh!
I thought pigs only wrestled in mud.
Oh!
I love Statler and Waldorf. Miss Piggy's a great pull. I didn't even think about her, but that's probably like, if you did like a Muppets wrestling draft, she's probably 1-1.
Dude.
I think my only other 2 picks I would say would be Gonzo and Animal.
Yeah, because Gonzo would just want to get in. Like, he would just try. Like he's going to get in there.
Since he gets shot out of cannons all the time.
Yeah, he has no fear.
Right.
He has no fear, and you have to have quite no fear to go into the ring. Animal, yeah, I'd agree with that too.
That'd be fun. We could do that on the show one week. Have you do a Muppets wrestling draft?
I could do that. Draft your own roster.
That'd be fun. Thank you, and everyone can leave you a voicemail with their Muppet wrestling picks.
Do you want to see Kermit get in the ring? You know what? It's not a Muppet, but tomato potato puppet. Elmo.
Oh,
Elmo. Okay,
Elmo versus Rocco.
Oh my god, dude, that would be so fucking funny. The Count is the referee. One. 2 would be a slow count, but like you got to make sure you really
1, 2, 3 counts. I
think we have an idea for Netflix. We have an idea for
especially
something.
since Sesame Street is on Netflix now.
That's like, come on,
dude. We might end up seeing the Sesame Street characters at WWE.
We saw the Muppets years ago. There's a photo with Beak and Seamus side by side. It is, dude. It gets thrown around the IWC so much. It's awesome.
You'd have Guy Smiley as like the McAfee doing the play-by-play. He's Guy Smiley's the Michael Cole of the Muppets universe.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's incredible. Pitts, you ready for your last voicemail?
Let's do it. Let's do it up.
As we said too, be sure to leave Pitt's voicemail all throughout the week. He records on Wednesdays. Show comes out on Fridays. So you have Thursday to Wednesday afternoon to drop your voicemails. Speakpipe.com/official house show. That voicemail line is open 24/7, 365. So leave Pitsy a voicemail. Plus, SummerSlam next week. I know everyone wants to get their takes off before, after, during. You can do that on the official house phone voicemail line. Speakpipe.com/official house show. Here's your last voicemail, Pitsy, from Sandro Joseph.
My dog.
Hello. My question is not really a question. It's like almost like a hot take. I would like your take on it. I feel like TNA is better than WWE and AEW as of right now. Your take.
Thank you, Sandro, for the hot take. The question to me, if I believe the TNA is a better product right now than WWE and AEW. It's not that it's a better product because it's a different product. I would say it is the best weekly wrestling show that you could watch right now. Okay. Because if you're a WWE fan, that's sports entertainment. Okay. That is so much more than just a wrestling show, as we've seen WWE evolve to. TNA is a great example of a fantastic wrestling show week in and week out because of, one, how much time they're giving their talent, two, the freedom that they're giving their talent, and also the matches that they're having. You know, it's not talk heavy. It's not wrestling heavy. It's got a good balance of both. Even the segments, out of the ring segments, whether it's some sort of interview or vignette or something, continues the show. And it makes it episodic, which I feel like a lot of complaints with AEW is that the episodes aren't episodic. And I would agree with those, because I could miss some weeks of AEW, just do 5 minutes of scrolling, and then watch next week and I'm all caught up. You know, with TNA, it's a little bit more than that. Everything is connected. If you miss a week, you actually have to rewatch the segments that you missed to fully catch up with what's going on. And with WWE, it's too episodic. All right. It watches more like a television show. TNA does not. It watches like a wrestling show. All right. And I would make a good comparison. Kyle, I'm going to make a comparison to you right now. TNA is like watching college basketball or college football. I will go specifically college basketball during March Madness and college football season long, where WWE is the pros. All right. When you watch college sports, the players give a little bit more. They do a little bit more risque things because they're trying to get to that next level. That's what TNA is. They're trying to get to that next level. And even the people who, came from WWE, they're trying to get to that next level, not to get back to WWE, but to make themselves on that caliber, getting the amount of eyes on them similarly to WWE. And I don't know, I just like a lot. I like a lot more of the storylines going on in TNA right now. It doesn't seem so recycled, predictable, we'll say the least. And the stars that they have, they're a lot younger and a lot more, have less experience in the industry. They're more on the rise than on the come down. Yes, you have the Hardys over in TNA. Yes, you have Nick Nemeth, who is formerly Dolph Ziggler. If anyone doesn't know, you have Santino Marella over there. So they're on the back ends of their career, but still doing very entertaining things. They're helping elevate guys like a Leon Slater, All right. I'm trying to think of other younger guys in TNA right now. Leon Slater, Matt Cardona's kind of, but you get the point. I love TNA every week because it brings me back to the old days. You know, that's just fast paced. You know, they just do different things. They take a little bit more risks than WWE when it comes to different things, segments, matches, whatnot. Specifically match types. Kyle, there's an Ultimate X match in TNA, and it's when two ropes are suspended from the corners of the ring to make an X, and there's an X or a title holding in the middle. You don't use a ladder. You have to climb up the barrier on the side and then like monkey bar pull your way to grab the X. Dude, it is insane. And it's those types of matches that set TNA apart from everywhere else, which is what you're supposed to do as a wrestling company. WWE just leaned into the Hollywood side of things, where TNA is leaning more into the wrestling side of things. I love
Interesting.
it.
Interesting. Pitsy, that's all the callers this week to the house phone.
That's all the calls we got. That's fine. We'll get more.
That's one hell of a way to kick off a brand new program.
That's what we do. All right. We thank you to everyone who sent in voicemails, and to anyone listening right now who has not sent in a voicemail, but you can. That's what we're here for. All you got to do is just go to speakpipe.com/official house show to leave me a voicemail about anything wrestling. You saw here the variety of questions. We had Derek asking me about CM Punk, if he should win at SummerSlam. You had Sandro asking me about TNA, and then you have Delco Danny asking me what Muppet or what wrestler should be a Muppet puppet to go into the ring with him. We have a wide range of things you can ask when it comes to wrestling. That's why it's the most beautiful form of art in the world. So please leave those questions, and I will answer them and get back to you.
Yeah. Also, be sure to follow the house show on Instagram. We will probably make a Twitter account as well to just get the clips and the show out there full blown. But right now, just on Instagram at official house show. Subscribe to the podcast feed wherever you get your podcasts, on Apple, Spotify, wherever. We're getting it on more platforms as the days go by, but right now just Apple, Spotify. Leave those 5-star reviews. It helps the show continue to grow, helps more people find the house show. And if you're an Apple podcast user, you can favorite the Underground Sports Philadelphia channel on Apple Podcasts, and you'll get every single show up to date, including the house show. Whenever new episodes drop, top episodes, all that good stuff will be on the Underground Sports Philadelphia channel. And for the very first time, a podcast here has its very own YouTube channel. The house show has its own YouTube channel, youtube.com/@ use the little @ symbol, official house show. Subscribe to the YouTube. That is where this show will premiere every single Friday morning. Friday mornings will be where you view it, and that's when it'll drop on podcast platforms as well. So you don't want to miss out. youtube.com/@ official house show. Drop a like on the video. Leave a comment in the comment section. Click that bell icon as well, so you know whenever new videos go live. Pitsy, we're gonna make the house show YouTube channel like everyone's favorite television station. Like, they're gonna not want to look away because new things are gonna be on that YouTube channel as often as possible. And
I'm on the goddamn YouTube channel. That's why you should be looking. Look at this sexy face.
Keep subscribing.
God, it's crazy what lighting can do.
And like Pitsy said, leave them a voicemail. Speakpipe.com/official house show. Look at that, man. First show in the books, in the phone book.
I don't even think half of the listeners right now would know what a fucking phone book is. So
that's what makes us special.
Damn right. Damn right. Thank you all.
You want to sign off for the people?
I will sign off for the peeps. Thank you all for stopping by the house. We'll see you next week. God bless. Remember that you can do it. All you got to do is try.